Today we're being joined by Mikayla Pauga from the GWS AFLW Football Club. Mikayla, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Nice. Tell us a bit about your footy journey, Mikayla. Obviously, you started in the AFLW career at the Brisbane Lions, but how did the footy journey start for you?
So I actually didn't start playing AFL until I hit high school.
Hmm.
I was lucky enough that my school had an AFL excellence program, so we were very footy focused there. So
Hmm.
yeah, just started playing in the AFL team for school and playing in the school comp. Eventually, when I started hitting more senior, I had a teacher that wanted me to keep pursuing it. She was pretty involved with AFL Queensland, so yeah, she really pushed me to try to get involved with the rep teams, and obviously the Brisbane Lions Academy was around, so making sure I was putting my name up for those kind of things. And then yeah, in my last 3 years of high school, started playing in her club team. So I played at the Maroochydore Football Club for a
Yep.
couple of years before I got a scholarship for university at Bond University. So I then
Hmm.
moved over there and played with Bond for a few years, and then yeah, got drafted by the Lions.
That's good. So obviously, you mentioned that your journey was a little bit different to some. Obviously, you said starting in high school and then having a school teacher kind of help you out with trainings and everything like that. Mikayla, tell us a bit about that and how that all came about.
Yeah, so my teacher was named Ashley Hales. Like I said, she was very involved in AFL Queensland. She was often the
Mm.
coaches for those um, rep teams and also in the Brisbane Lions Academy.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, she pretty much would drive me to trainings when she could.
Mm.
She eventually got me an exemption to play in her football club at Maroochydore, so had
Mm.
often trained with her at that club as well. But yeah, she was a really big rock for me when I was coming up through the ranks. Obviously, didn't know much about footy, and my family wasn't very AFL involved either. So yeah, she was kind of my guide through.
That's good. So obviously in the 2021 draft, Mikayla obviously been drafted by the Brisbane Lions at pick 46. Tell us a bit about that draft year for you in terms of like playing for Queensland and everything like that. How was that whole season? How were you draft night as well?
It's a bit of a blur that year. I
Mm.
think around that time was a lot of the COVID stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so I don't think we actually ended up playing too many Queensland and rep games, and even like with
Mm.
academy, I think we played 1 or 2 games over the
Mm.
2-year period. Um, and then an interrupted quaffle season, I think it got split in half. So it was very all over the place. And I
Mm.
think my draft year, I had just moved out of home and moved to the Gold Coast to play for Bonds Uni. So I think
Mm.
that whole year was a bit of a
Yeah.
mixed emotions about what was going on. And obviously living on the Gold Coast and then getting drafted by the Brisbane Lions, I
Mm.
did have to commit to that commute from the Gold Coast to Lions training.
Yeah.
But yeah, draft night was definitely. I remember being so nervous because obviously I had
Mm.
my fellow girls that I played at Maroochydore with beforehand, like Bella Smith and Maggie Harmer, were also waiting to hear what was going to happen. And yeah, the
Mm.
quaffle has been super strong the last few years as well. So I think we're all pretty like nervous. And I had conversations with Craig and Bree beforehand, and
Mm.
they had told me that I was going to get picked up, but for some reason I
Okay.
mentally didn't wrap my head around that. So I think I
Yeah.
was still nervous. Like you never know what's going to happen draft night. So
Mm.
many things happen. So yeah, it was definitely a relief when they called my name.
That's right. And I mean, even just mentioned there with Craig and Co. letting you know in advance, did you feel like that kind of calmed the nerves a little bit more than what it would have been being open to some, where they obviously don't know what's going to happen?
Yeah, 100%, especially with our draft only being able to nominate for your state or
Yes.
nationally. I had gone to and nominated for Brisbane.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, like when you put all your eggs in one basket, you really hope that it comes through. So yeah, it
Mm.
definitely eased the nerves a little bit going in. But yeah, as I said, you hear stories about other girls going into the draft and not quite getting the outcome they probably were expecting. So
Mm.
yeah, they were definitely great in that sense.
That's good. So, how was your time in the few years you were at the Brisbane Lions? Obviously, last year being in premiership, which we'll get to soon. How was your time there overall, the Lions?
Yeah, I loved playing at the Lions. Such a like competitive and successful team, as we know.
Mm.
I
Mm.
got drafted coming off their previous premiership win. So coming
Mm.
into like yeah, a premiership team, I think there was um not quite expectations, but I definitely like came into it knowing that I was gonna have to work really hard, and it wasn't
Mm,
probably gonna be as easy as a transition as, probably might have expected beforehand. Like, obviously,
mm,
at that period, a lot of the AFLW players would come back and play in
mm,
state leagues at that time still as well, so
mm,
I would play with them and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I probably can match these girls," but it's a completely different, game once you're
mm,
actually in those training sessions working side by side
mm,
with them. But yeah, I think it was an amazing experience. Obviously getting an opportunity to play in 2 grand finals myself, and then
mm,
the premiership in that last year. Yeah, it was just great for my development and to be only 21 and have that experience
mm,
to play through 2 whole final series, and getting both what it's like to, lose and also what it's like to win. Yeah, kind of getting a bit of
mm.
taste of what it's like to play at the highest level.
That's right, and it shows how important it is for yourself for your development. You just mentioned there, playing in 2 premierships, and you're only 21 already, and it just shows now at a young age you know what it's like to play in the losing side, unfortunately, but then also in that winning side last year.
Yeah, of course.
That's right. So, how was last year's grand final for you, Mikayla? Obviously, knowing that the previous year you had the unfortunate loss, and then going into this one, how were you going into that grand final last year at Icon Park against the Roos?
It was definitely a very different feel to the previous season. I think
Mm,
that that year that we did fall short to the D's, I think we had a bit of a cruisier season. We were
mm,
just dominating the competition. I think we had that one loss against Richmond in the middle of the year, which was
mm,
very unlike us. But yeah, I think
yeah,
we probably were in a bit of cruise control going into that grand final, and Melbourne did amazing in shutting down how we wanted to play and really
mm,
um, using that to their advantage. So yeah, this year I think, last year going into it, knowing that we had to um, work so hard to actually get there, and like the competition has stepped on, which I think was really good for us because we also had to step up as a team.
mm,
Um, and yeah, I don't think we really knew what was going to come out of that game. North Melbourne had such an amazing season as well. So
mm,
yeah, it was very exciting game as well. I think we were a bit disappointed with just the general performance of the year before. Like we didn't
yeah,
think grand final was up to the standard that we wanted it to be. So yeah, having that really nice competitive game, and it was really a fight to the end.
mm,
And yeah, you're just so proud looking at like the girls and their efforts in that last quarter to get us over
yeah.
the line. Yeah, it was really inspiring.
That's right. I think on the top of my head it was 7 points a match. I think you were trailing at 3-quarter time in Dakota. I think kicked 2 goals in that last quarter to get the line. At that point, it looked like it could have gone either way, and then it was just a strong last quarter from you girls. And obviously, it's nice way to end your Brisbane part of your career as well. And did you know in that moment, Mikayla, that regardless of the result, that would have been your last game for the club, or were you still up in the air at that point?
I think I knew by grand final day that was going to be my last game for the club.
Mm,
So yeah, I think myself just like I was kind of just taking every moment of it because it wasn't only a
mm,
grand final win, but it was probably the last time I was going to take on the field with that group of girls. So yeah, it was a really special moment for me, not only to get the
mm,
premiership, but yeah, get to say that I won it with that group of girls was
mm.
nice.
That's good. So obviously the grand final was not long, or the trade bridge, sorry, was not long after the grand final. So you didn't really have much time to settle in, or with that grand final victory and everything like that. How was that week for you from winning the premiership to being a Giants player within a few weeks?
Yeah, I guess it was kind of bittersweet. Like
Mm,
even me personally wanting to break it to the girls before anyone else got to, before the coaches or
mm,
the media got to.
mm,
So yeah, I think I had to be really careful about. I wanted us all to be able to celebrate as a group and like really get around
mm,
what we accomplished because that was the focus. And then yeah, even I think we had interviews like straight away after the grand final. So
mm,
it's not the nicest conversation to have with coaches that just had you
mm,
in the grand final team to then say that you did want to go into the trade.
mm,
Um, but I think there was a really good understanding of where I was at as an individual in my footy
mm,
career. Just knowing like the competitiveness of their team, especially through their midfield, and knowing
mm,
what to achieve in my footy career. Yeah, I think there was a really good understanding within the coaching group, but also my playing group was so supportive of it as well. So
mm,
I think that was a big relief for me, not having to
mm,
leave on the worst of terms. But yeah,
mm.
everyone was really excited for me and so I could actually be excited about my journey as well.
That's good. So what kind of prompted the idea of moving the states, obviously being from Queensland, so obviously that was Brisbane was your team as well. So what kind of prompted that move, along with the obviously playing midfield, to move to the Giants in particular?
Um, so I was in the National Academy before I got drafted, and I
Mhm.
did build some really good relationships with some of the girls in that team, and
Mhm.
like Emily, Tiny Evans and Emily Pease, and just they also have like a fair few Queensland girls. So you got Fleur
Mm.
Davies, Caitlin Miller, and a few of those girls.
Mhm.
Um, and I was always just, I think, really impressed with the girls in their group and how well I got along with them and just like the kind of vibe they gave off. I
Mm.
think they were, to me, a team quite similar to Brisbane in their connection piece, and they
Mm.
really all really great mates with each other. And I think that was kind of a group I wanted to be a part of. And I think they
Mm.
also have really exciting young talent. Like Giants, we are such a young team, so I think
Mm.
that part of it really excited me, that they were such a young team, but they have so much more to offer. And I think that was something I wanted to be a part of.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's good. Obviously, with the Lions obviously being the premiers and obviously being probably the strongest team for a fair while now, going from that side to playing with some of the youngest stars like Zali Goldsworthy, who won the Rising Star last year, must be pleasing to go play with a star like her and a bunch of other players, Tani Evans, Alicia Parker, so many good names of the Giants as well. Yes, Brisbane was star stacked and rightfully so, but the Giants got some good stars of their own as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I think sometimes they do get lost in the piece of the media. They probably didn't get the best of media last year, but coming to
Mm.
the training with them, I just think there's so many hidden gems in that team that are only just going to keep getting better and better. So yeah, it's been so exciting working with people like
Mm.
Zali, who just is someone that I think has the best goal sense in the competition. Like her
Mm.
ability to like see the goal and hit the scoreboard is amazing. And
Mm.
yeah, even she's just at the very beginning, like, she has so much more to offer and can develop
Mm.
into probably one of the best players in the comp. So, yeah, it's
Mm.
been really exciting being
Yeah,
there.
that's right. I've met Sally before. She's a river person. And I mean, that one game, I don't know, Mikayla, if you remember it, she had a star-studded game last year. Probably the best game I've seen, at least anyway, by an individual in AFLW. I think she hit 5 goals in like 28 possessions, 11 marks against Carlton last year. That game just strikes out to show that she is the future of the comp.
Yeah, and I think I got to see a little bit of that when we were playing in the VFL, during
Mm.
the preseason, just how dangerous she can be. And I think she is one of those players you don't realize how many touches and disposals and, like, how many
Mm.
goals until you finish the game and you probably look at the stat sheet and you're like, "Oh my
Mm.
goodness, she's everywhere." So, yeah, it's really exciting to have players like that coming through our system.
That's right. Now, obviously, at Brisbane, you mainly played more up forward than did some more midfield that you like. And obviously, at the Giants, is that the aim now to play more midfield minutes at the Giants?
Yes, for sure, hopefully. You don't really
Mm.
know until round 1, and I think I've learnt that over my 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've always wanted to strive to play through the midfield. I think I've got more of a midfield brain than a forward brain. So yeah, just making sure I'm, uh, preparing my body well enough for that during the preseason so I can make a good impact when I start playing.
Mm. That's good. What are some goals you kind of set for yourself, Mikayla, this season?
Um, I think personally, I just want to make my team proud. I think
Mm.
I have a few strengths that, um, that could really add to our game plan. So just coming
Mhm.
into the group and playing my role within the group and showing that I can be a good, week by week player, which I don't think,
Mm.
yeah, up until this point, I've never played a full season from, beginning to finish. So yeah, just being a really competitive player and a consistent player that they can rely
Mm.
on.
That's good. So you mentioned before about playing with some of the Giants players through the state teams, etc., and knowing some. Has it made that transition a little bit more easier moving to the Giants, knowing some names already?
Yeah, for sure. It didn't feel too daunting, and I was lucky enough before I even came, before the trade went through, came and met up with a few of the girls and just spent a couple of days with them. But yeah, it's been the easiest transition. I think I was a little bit worried what it was
Mm.
like, never really having much to do with Sydney personally.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's such an easy transition, which is just
Mm.
exactly what you want. You don't want to go through that middle period where you're unsure about things. Yeah.
Mm. Was it always the Giants when you were considering the move, and it was just the Giants and stay? Join, I mean.
Um, I think so. I think it's always exciting. I think there was a few clubs that hit me up that I was kind of I think I was flattered. I was like, "Oh, that's so cool that you would consider me." But,
Yeah.
I think I was definitely someone I wanna stay on the East Coast as well. I like the warmth, so I don't
Mhm.
think I was ever really gonna consider the Melbourne clubs or anything like that,
Yeah.
but I think Sydney was a good transition, still close to home, really good group, and, yeah, I think it was nice having some friends there as well to make the transition
Mm.
easier.
That's good. Who are some players at the Giants that you're looking forward to in playing with, particularly this year?
Um, I think I'm really excited about a lot of people. I could
Sorry,
rant
that.
everyone. I
Mhm.
think I'll probably go by line, but I know Cambridge McCormack in the back line has had an amazing preseason and just, like, being able to see what she's gonna offer to us this year, I think it's just gonna do leaps and bounds for our group, so I definitely think that she's someone I'm really excited about,
Mhm.
and then a lot of our new girls as well, Caitlin Surhoy and Ailish, I think, are people that I've rattled off before, but, yeah, just their willingness to learn and work so hard and just, like, seeing, how they read the game and how they can really impact
Mm.
the group, I think is really exciting as well, and Alicia Eva would be another one, I think
Mm.
she's really put her head down and put in her work, and then I know that she has stepped down from that captaincy role, and I
Mhm.
think it's exciting to see how that is gonna affect her footy this year because I know, previously we've seen people do that and they've just come back to their normal self when they play footy. So, yeah, really exciting to
Mm.
see how she can impact the team this year.
That's good. Are you a bit gutted though, Mikayla, though, that you won't, at least in the home and away season, be competing against your old side?
Um, I'm not too mad about it.
Mm.
I think,
Mm.
it would have been really exciting, but I don't think I'm ready to face a few of those girls, especially in the midfield. But you never know, we might see each other in finals, so
You could.
I won't count them out yet.
That's absolutely that could. Yeah, you never know what could happen these days. In terms of though, since we're on the topic of the fixture, Mikayla, is there any particular games that you penciled in that you're looking forward to playing against or sides against?
Um, well, I definitely think I'm excited for round 1 Bulldogs. I think just knowing how different their group even looks this year, I think it's just
Yeah.
gonna be a really fun and, competitive game, and I personally haven't played the Bulldogs either, so,
Mm.
um, yeah, I think I'm not looking too far ahead into the fixture of, many teams. I think, yeah, just really focusing on that
Mm.
round 1 game, I think for me.
That's fair. So obviously, in your 15 games so far, I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask this anyway. What would you say is your most memorable game, and how was your debut game too, as well?
Well, most memorable other than the grand final, I actually reckon I think it was my 2nd game I
Mm-hmm.
played, against Adelaide Crows.
Hmm.
We played at Metricon, and I think that's probably been one of my best games I've played. Um, but that was the first time I got to play in front of my family and friends, and,
Hmm.
at a stadium like Metricon that is quite, familiar to me, I think that was definitely a memorable game for me, and getting to sing the song with the girls on the field, and yeah, I think that's always been
Hmm.
a memorable game for me. And my debut game, that was the first loss of the season. I think that was our only that game against Richmond, that was our only loss during, the 10 rounds, so wasn't the best probably debut experience, but I think, it did in a sense was good because, they were so successful and we did win quite a few games, just, like,
Yeah.
kinda got a taste of what it was to lose and never wanting to really, like, have to experience that too many times more than that, so I think after
Mm.
every like, I wanted to make sure I didn't have that experience again
Yeah.
losing.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, amazing group.
Mm.
Definitely gonna miss them, but yeah, really excited for what's to come with the Giants.
That's all right. Who would you say individually has been the toughest opponent you've had to match up on in your 15 games so far?
Um, honestly, it's a little bit of a blur. I don't think I
Mm.
really took too much notice on my defenders, and I think I was, like, the young one that they didn't really know too much about when I did play
Mhm.
them.
Yeah.
Um, so I think I was lucky that I could go under the radar with defenders. But I will say playing at Giants and having to compete against Elise Parker in training probably has been my toughest,
Yeah.
um, matchup I've had. So I'm actually going to say Elise Parker in training and match sim has been my toughest opponent.
Good answer. What would you say though? Some of your biggest strengths as a footballer overall?
I think can read a contest pretty well.
Mhm.
My legs can react as fast as my head does. I think that's definitely what I'm working on. But I think
Yeah.
my footy sense and ability to set up play, I think, are my strengths, and I got to see a little bit more of that last season, getting to set up a few goals for the group. But yeah, being through the midfield and probably getting to be around the football more, I think I've really been able to push that strength more.
That's good. So obviously, it's well known that a lot of the Lions girls love the limelight and the attention of the camera. Who at the Giants, if you while you've been there so far, kind of loves that attention and camera time? If you can't think of any Giants one, you can switch back to the Lions one because there's a fair few there too.
I actually think our Giants team's quite humble in that sense. I don't think we got too many
Okay.
media. I'm probably the one that gets in trouble the most about wanting to be in front of the camera too much. Um, but I don't mind Georgia Garnett and her TikToks,
Mm,
her Instagram. I think her social medias are really
yes.
pretty cool, and she's a cool person in herself. So I might throw her under the bus there with that.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, I've seen some of that as well, and I think Georgia would be someone that loves it. It's considering if you're posting a lot of that type of stuff, I feel like clearly you like it.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people like her doing it too, so I'll
Mm.
give her credit for that.
No, I think for sure that too. What nicknames, Mikayla, do you get at either club that you've been at, or just in general that you like or dislike?
I've never really been a nickname person. I
Hmm.
know that the Giants girls did start throwing around Mickey P, and I think that's definitely latched on to all the teams I've played in now. So Mickey P is probably
Okay,
my one and only nickname.
one and only nickname. That's all right. Sometimes the basic ones are sometimes the best way to go about it. What outside of footy interests, Mikayla, do you have?
Um, well, I just recently finished my degree, so I did
Nice.
a Bachelor of Psychological Science. So I love learning. So I think I'm still trying to figure out where I want to go with that now. But yeah, staying involved in kind of that psychology and mental health space, I think that's
Mm.
something that I really like to focus in on. But other
Mhm.
than that, yeah, I like Sydney's perfect for it. But yeah, going on walks, going to the beach, doing that kind of stuff, probably what I enjoy.
How was the rivalry between Brisbane and Gold Coast? And do you feel like now that you've been in one and rivals, now you can be at another one with the Giants and the Swans?
Yeah, the Brisbane Suns rivalry was always good, and I think it
Mm.
was quite funny playing for Brisbane and living on the Gold Coast, and probably
Yes.
having a bit of crossover with like being friends with both sides. It
Mm.
was a fun rivalry, especially Brisbane coming on top most of the time. So I think that was a fun rivalry because we would always win. But I definitely think the girls are going to hate that I said that. But I definitely think I'm excited for this Swans and Giants rivalry because they are Giants up one and Swans up the last game that they've played. So I know there's a
Mm.
heat that's going to be coming into that game. So round 4 is definitely going to be exciting. I'm getting,
Absolutely will be.
yeah.
That's right. They're always great ones to see. Um, okay, so any outs? Oh no, the favorite TV shows or movies that you have. Is there any particular shows that you like binge watching or previous shows?
I don't have anything at the moment. I've actually been trying to find something. I really liked Bridgerton. I was a big
Oh
fan of
yeah.
Bridgerton. And I'm currently watching, um, gosh, it's so bad at it, the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
I'm watching that at the moment. But yeah, I probably needed some recommendations because I'm a bit lost on what to watch at the
Okay.
moment.
Is any particular type of genre that you like horror ones, comedy ones?
I do love a thriller. I don't think quite horror. It's half horror, half thriller, but I have to watch it with people. So I can't
No,
watch
that's
it
true.
by myself. So I love watching it, but I can't watch it by myself, which is a bit annoying because then I don't get to
Hmm.
watch them often. So
No,
that's
that's
probably
very true. So more something less horror type stuff then, basically, when you're on your own.
yes. Probably like that can be more like psychological thrillers if I'm watching it by myself, something that
Hmm.
gets me thinking.
So I'm just trying to think what Law and Order is something I watch. There's a few variations of Law and Order. I mean, that could be one. SVU. It's not that bad in terms of like horror or anything, but that's something I'm more either that or like a comedy ones. A lot of the shows I used to watch are all gone. They're all finished.
Yeah, everything's finished. I feel like I'm just waiting around for new seasons of stuff now. So
Yeah. I keep waiting in.
soon.
Yeah, we keep waiting there, Mikayla, and just wait for something to pop. Think it's going to come back, and it's just not coming back. Or is there any of those shows that you watch where like they have like a break in between, and you're waiting like months or for so long for something to come back? Like one of the Law and Orders, it's been like 2 months since they randomly stopped in season a couple of times. It's really annoying.
Yes, definitely very frustrating.
Yes, it absolutely is. All right. Who's some teammates of the Giants, Mikayla, that you're kind of impressed by? You feel that are flying under the radar publicly and don't get talked about as much as they should. Who's the hidden gem?
Sorry?
Who's the hidden gem? Did you mention before about some quiet achievers?
I definitely think Claire Ransom has been pretty exciting. She's had some really good match sim training. So I think she's someone that definitely flies under the radar and is just going to come out with flying colours. So I definitely think she's someone that I like to keep an eye on.
That's good. What are some fun facts about you, Mikayla, that people may not know about you?
Well, I think people started knowing about this now, but I am in a family of 10. I have 7 sisters. So very, very big family.
Yeah.
I do like music, so I do play a few instruments and
Oh, nice.
doing that kind of stuff, but I try to keep that under the radar because I don't like doing it in front of people.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, I think maybe those 2. I can't think of anything right now.
No, they're good. Any particular type of music that you like doing? Is it like a guitar? Is it what is it?
I can play guitar.
Nice.
And questionably piano.
Mm-hmm.
And the ukulele. I think I just can get a rhythm and beat. So I think if I can half play a lot of instruments, but yeah, I'm self-taught. I haven't really done classes for it. So I don't know if the people that are actually good at those instruments will say I can do it.
Any particular favorite music then that you have since you're on the topic of music?
I'm quite diverse with music. I listen to everything. It just depends what kind of mood I'm in. So I know I like to listen to with people like Fred again and like that more upbeat when I've got training and stuff coming up, or if I'm in the car by myself, I might listen to I don't know, a little bit of Taylor Swift lately, the new Taylor Swift. I wouldn't consider myself a Swiftie, but I have been getting into it.
That's
yeah, so there's a bit of a mix. I can go all over the place, a little bit of country here and there. But yes.
No, that's good. I'm glad you mentioned Taylor Swift. I know you said you're not a Swiftie, so you part answered my question, but there's a reason a while back, obviously, when she was in Sydney and she was in Melbourne and whatever, around that time anyway, this is a true story, I accidentally told someone to just shake it off, and like literally just the words came out of my mouth, and they didn't like Taylor Swift, and they reacted very poorly to it. So if there's ever someone that doesn't like Taylor Swift, there's 2 things I say. Just shake it off, and that pisses them off, or just say, all you're going to do is hate, and they blew up because this person was really annoying me. The first time was accidental, and then he just went off. And I thought, okay, you know what? They're going to annoy me so bad. If they keep annoying me, I'm just going to keep referencing it or play the song, and then they crack it.
I don't think I would be able to pick up on a few Taylor Swift references. I realized I was a lot more out of the loop than I thought I was with Taylor Swift.
Yeah, well, it's only that song, trust me. I don't really know any of the other ones. But what was funny was those words, shake it off, just literally came out of my mouth. It wasn't intentional. I didn't know they didn't like Taylor Swift. It just came out, and that's how I knew how they reacted to it.
It's a bit hectic. Crazy reaction from me.
I know, and I told them that still to this day. Unbelievable. Now, game day superstitions. Mikayla, do you have any game day superstitions that you must do?
No, I've tried to avoid them because I am someone that can get hyperfixated on stuff. So I try to keep my game day pretty flowy and fluid. I do like this. I think on the way to games, like probably that last 10 minutes, I do like having my headphones in and just kind of like just have my downtime before we get into the rooms. But yeah, definitely once we're in the change rooms, I'm someone that likes to get up and about and dancing to music and getting around the girls, getting my nervous energy out by just being around the girls.
That's good. Now, defenders, Mikayla, I feel like deserve a bit more love than what they truly get. Obviously, the forwards got a Coleman and the mids got a Brownlow, and rucks even get recognised in Brownlow votes these days. Do you feel, Mikayla, that defenders deserve their own official title of an award as well?
I do, especially at Giants. We have some crazy good defenders that I reckon if they did have a medal, they would take out the competition. So, yes, I do it.
Yeah, they do. Sure. Now, mark or goal of the year, which one would you rather do and why?
I reckon mark. I want mark of the year because I am such a small player and I have a dream of taking a specky on someone. So I'll definitely be someone that wants a mark of the year.
That's good. Now, would you be one to post it or share it or whatever if you were to get a good mark or good goal?
Of course. Yes, I would.
I love the honesty, Mikayla, because I just had someone on recently that said they wouldn't post it. I've had plenty of people that say that. I don't believe them for a second that they say they won't post it unless your name's Jeremy Howe or Eddie Betts or someone that does a good mark or goal of the year every week or every year. You got to post it, and it's not necessarily bring. It's fun. It's good.
No, I'm gonna post that, and I'm gonna make sure everyone else posts it as well.
Good. Yeah, I'd be like that too, and I go to a lot of the games this year. Like I actually did meet you last year at the grand final. So if I ever do get a footage of anyone, for that matter, that gets a good mark or a good goal, you best believe I'll post it anyway. I'll do anyway, but I definitely would.
Perfect.
That would be the aim, and would capture it as well. All right. Now these are teammate questions. Now, because you only just joined the Giants, you can relate this to Brisbane or GWS. So, first one, who would you say is the best chatterbox at the club?
Caitlin Sirhoy.
Had Caitlin on before as well, and she definitely can. And again, it's not always a bad thing, though, is it?
No, I love it. I love it so much, and I think everyone else does love it too.
No, she's a ripper. Loudest and quietest teammates.
Loudest. Oh, Pepper Randall actually can be quite loud. I actually would put Pepper Randall as loudest. And quietest. I don't hear much come out of. I reckon Emily Pease can be quite quiet. I think. But I think she has a calm energy. So, like, if I need quiet time, I'll go hang out with her because I know that she'll bring that calm energy.
Well, that's what you want sometimes too. And if you were stuck on a deserted island with teammates, who are you bringing and not bringing, and why?
I feel like Catherine Smith.
Yep.
Would be good. I don't know why she'd be good, but I feel like she would be good. She just gives that. I reckon she'd just be a good leader and like kind of organize the chaos. Tani Evans, 100%. She's just good at everything, and I feel like she would be very good at survival.
Yeah.
I would not bring Zali or Anise Bradfield, especially if they were both on that island together. I don't think those two need to be separated, and I don't think I'd bring them with me. Yeah, that's about it.
Nice.
I hope they don't hate me for saying that, but they would be coming on my island.
Well, I mean, they shouldn't hate you for that. I mean, if it's the truth, if you say that you can't have Zali and PC together, I mean, it's just, maybe one, but not the other. Then you're not want to hurt the other one's feelings. So you kind of say both could be gone. Yeah,
well, they both live together, and even just hearing their experiences living in the same house and the conversations they have, I think I'd just not bring them on the island with me. I'll save myself.
Yeah, very smart. So you've been very, very smart about it, Mikayla, as well. What would you say are some of the most prized possessions that you own?
My phone.
Good answer. I haven't heard many people say that lately. I mean, you need it, don't you, Mikayla, to communicate for everything?
Everything. I don't think I can really think of anything else that I'd be too worried about.
Exactly. I agree with you. And that's my answer as well, because I mean, no matter the age of whoever you are, you need it no matter what. So like some people will say, oh yeah, I can go without it. Well, how are you going to communicate for starters? That's the big one. And then everything else.
What do other people say they'd bring?
Some people say, so like their phone. Some people like kind of mention their trophies, or in your case, it might be the premiership medal, but they kind of mention things like that, kind of generally footy related stuff, or maybe something that a grandparent has given them like a jewelry or something like that? That's the general answers.
That's nice. No, I'll just bring my phone.
Yeah, bring your phone. As long as you don't lose that, we're all good. That's
We're
the
all
main thing.
good.
Now, on the topics of phone, Mikayla, favorite app on your phone?
Probably Instagram, because you get a little bit of everything on Instagram.
You do. Yeah, I like it too. I mean, that's how I communicate to everyone. That's how I post. Well, I post it on more than there, but that's the main one. I mean, and everyone seems to get. I think that's the popular one at the moment. Facebook's dying, and Snapchat's something different. So I think, yeah, and TikTok. Well, don't get me started on that. But anyway, I think Instagram's the one.
Yes, Instagram's the one.
That's it. Now, name 3 famous people, dead or alive, you would like to take out to dinner with, or go out to dinner with.
Oh, that's hard.
They can be teammates. It can be former teammates. It can be other players in the comp. They don't have to be celebrities.
Sandra Bullock. I'm in love with her.
Fair enough.
I love all of her films and stuff. So Sandra Bullock would be there. Ryan Reynolds. I'm just gonna go all celebrities, I reckon.
Yep.
And this is so hard and on the spot. Maybe Harry Styles. I did go through a Harry Styles phase.
Oh, you did?
Harry Styles when he was in like a very specific phase. Like I can picture a specific video of him and I'd want that Harry Styles there.
Yes, gotcha. Yeah. I know exactly what you mean.
Oh,
that's
Jake
good.
Lordy, take Harry Styles out. Jake Lordy can come.
Oh, there you go. Out. Goodbye.
Out the door.
Out the door. You're number 4. Then you don't make the cut. He doesn't make the cut. Now, going back to goals, you mentioned take a good hanger. Now, if you were to best describe the best goal, this can be as unrealistic as you like, that you would love to ever get at in the distance, the angle, the moment, the occasion. What goal would you love to pull out?
I feel like anyone can kick a distance goal. I think that's just the luck. I think that's an angle goal from the boundary. Maybe a little bit of like a Zach Bailey in the grand final last year, that kind of goal.
Oh, yeah. And that'd be pretty cool. I mean, I do my own goal kicking challenges, and there's always something, Mikayla, that I want to aim for every time, no matter who I'm facing, even when it's not on film, is to always get boundary goals. I just love doing them, and I mean, I think I can say that's the only thing I'm good at because that's the only thing I really try doing.
Yes, I'd love to kick a boundary goal. I'm very impressed by anyone that kicks the goals from the boundary.
Yes, so am I. They're pretty cool to watch and they're pretty good to see. And so many people these days, some people are kicking them behind the fence these days. You just see so many random videos pop up. It's insane. I got to step up my game. I'm just kicking them check sides from the pockets and dribbles and snap around the body. So I'm going to have to think of something else to do.
Me too.
You have to do that. And at trainings, is there ever a point where you kind of have that point where they say you can do your own little thing for 10 minutes? What is that thing that you go and do? Is there anything that do you try and do these goals? Do you do something else?
Well, it used to be just relaxing and probably kicking goals, but I think now I do have to pull my head in a little bit when we do that kind of stuff. So more things like ground balls and contested work. So it's not as fun as it used to be when I was just a forward, but that's probably the stuff that you want to be the best at.
No, that's right. What would you say, Mikayla, some of the best advice you've gained from anyone about footy or just anything in general?
I think probably talking to my dad last year, especially when I was a bit more in and out of the team, and it was just different. AFLW, in and out of the team, and then probably not getting as much game time as you used to. Just making the most of every like disposal and touch you have. So I think me personally, really strive to be that person that if I had ball in hand, like I want to make something happen. So every time you get an opportunity, make something happen.
That's good. Now, if you're in charge of the AFLW, Mikayla, so you're in charge, you're the CEO, you're the boss, you're whatever you want to call it, you're in charge. You can add any rules or remove any rules or anything in general. What would you like to add or remove?
I don't know.
Anything to do with season length, quarter length?
More games.
Yes.
If they're not going to extend the season, then they need to shorten preseason because I'm sick of the preseason being longer than the season. So
Yeah,
if I
'cause
was in charge, either make the preseason shorter,
mhm.
probably wouldn't be the best of our favour. Like the season's great, but
Mm,
add more games. I want more games.
mm. No, that's
That's
true.
the
I mean,
change.
I agree with you. I think it's well overdue now. And I mean, like you said, the preseason was it June 1st, was it? Or something the first recently, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the first week
Something
of
like
June.
that. Yeah,
Something.
so you have like what, 4 months of preseason, the rounds are like 12, 13 rounds. So that's, yeah, it's like you said, it's pretty much longer than the season if you don't make finals.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just mind boggling, but whatever. Now, what do you think about the also on the topic of rules, the team lineups, how you have one less defender and forward? Would you like, especially for players that are, on the cusp of being picked up, that where you even the positions out where you have 6-6-6?
I actually don't mind the 5-6-5. I
Okay. Yeah.
think for some reason the field still does feel quite congested,
Hmm.
and I think I don't know, it could be a good thing or a bad thing. I don't really think about it too much. I actually honestly forgot that we don't play 18 on the field.
Mm.
Um, but I think for our game and where we are now, I think the 5-6-5 is the good direction to be in.
No, that's fair enough. Now, I've got a few more for you, Mikayla, so I really appreciate you coming on. If you were to kind of like add a dream scenario for yourself this year, an ideal plan for you at the Giants this year, how would you love for this season to pan out for you?
I'd love to kick my first goal in my first game.
Yeah.
That would be ideal.
Yeah.
Um, and wouldn't mind getting up in the votes for the BNF at the end of the year, but yeah, I think I just want to kick a goal. I think that's
Uh,
my main focus for this year. I really want to kick a goal. And I actually think that I've kicked more goals when I'm playing through the midfield, and that's shown
mm,
probably in my quaffle and in the VFL even, that for some reason
mm,
I'm more just running into the forward line than being in the forward line. So
mm.
s that's the dream scenario.
Well, that's good. I mean, if you plan or going to play midfield more permanently this year, I mean, that helps going off what you just said.
Yeah, definitely.
That'd be good. Now, obviously, preseason, there's always these kilometre time trials, however long clubs have them these days. Are you always one that dreads those time trials, or do you thrive off it?
I'm a dreader of time trials. Um, Especially I think, um, starting at Brisbane and just the crazy athletes that they have in that team, I just think ever since then, I've just been terrified of time trials.
Mm.
But I do think I'm becoming more confident in them.
Yeah.
So I think I just need to get over the mentality of that. But no, I'm not someone that enjoys that stuff. I'm more of
Yeah.
a I like the match sim and the training side of
Yeah.
things, not the playing side of things.
Yeah, you wouldn't be alone there, Mikayla, and ones that say they dread those time trials and just want to get into the match sim type stuff and into the games. They're the ones that, I mean, obviously it has to happen, but yeah, it's good. Now, team photo day, Mikayla. Obviously at the Lions, obviously there's lots of people as we mentioned loving the camera. The Giants, you mentioned there was some earlier. Team photo day, how was that recently? And who loves to try and make themselves look like $1,000,000, even if they already look like $1,000,000?
Team photo day was actually quite cruisy. We didn't do too
Mm,
much, um, for it. I think that we only had, like, the 3 stations, so it was quite, like, in and out.
okay.
I think when we're at Lions, I think we had, like, 5 or 6 stations, and everyone was done up, and everyone was making TikToks and all of that. Like, I think we were quite just in and out, get it done, go train. Um,
Mm.
who do I think puts in effort?
Who's always
Brodie
in there just for hours or ages?
Brodie Mowbray, always she just always looks put together at training. I think that's a topic that has come up a lot since I've been there, just how good she looks all the time whenever she comes
Yeah.
on the 'cause I think I have a spectrum. I either come in looking absolutely shocking or I look like $1,000,000. So
Mhm.
I I don't even think people know what to expect when I walk into the club, but she's someone that consistently always looks nice, and she
Mm.
definitely looks nice on photo day as well.
That's good. And smart of you too. Keep them guessing, Mikayla. Keep them guessing.
Yeah, you never know what you're gonna get.
No, you don't know at all. Now, two more for you. So, bold call. If you can make a bold call for yourself, for the team, the competition in general, what is your bold call for season 2024?
There's a few
Mm.
things I said that I probably should
Oh,
not say.
okay.
Bold call. I reckon I don't even think it's bold. I think it's just the fact that I reckon the top teams probably are gonna get shuffled around a lot this year. I
Mhm.
reckon the top 8 isn't gonna be as consistent as we think it's gonna be, and I reckon there's a few
Mm.
teams that were probably on the bottom that are gonna shoot up to the top this year.
Yeah, no, I
That's
agree with you. I mean, I don't think with Melbourne they've had a fair few changes, and they've maybe had 5 players and key players leave their club. And North Melbourne, losing the grand final, what could that do to them? And you girls brought in a fair few players, including yourself, and then Port Adelaide brought in some of the best draft crop. They stole the draft, so there's so many names as well and clubs that could, as you said, just shoot up there.
Yep. So I reckon top clubs look out.
Help clubs look out. I love it. Now, the last one, and this is probably the most important question of them all. If you could steal one player, only one, Mikayla, or you can choose a couple, it'll be nice. You can choose 1 or 2. If you can steal 1 or 2 players from another club to join the Giants, again, this can be as unrealistic as you want. It may never happen. It could happen. Maybe you could persuade this person to, who knows. Who would you love to steal from another club to the Giants?
I've always been a Mon Conti fan. I just love the
Yeah.
way she plays, so I definitely think Mon Conti. And, I wish I could steal a few girls from the Lions.
Go on, name some. It doesn't have to be one. It can be
Um,
more.
Dakota Davidson, I just think
Mhm.
she's just unreal, and watching, like, some of the stuff that she was able to pull off last season just
Mhm.
could be a great forward line addition.
Yeah.
And Kathy Spark is an absolute beast, and I just can't imagine anyone being able to take her on, especially the form she's in now. So,
Mm.
I definitely think I'd rather have Kathy on my team than be playing up against her.
Yeah, that's very true. Some really good names there, Mikayla. And it's been a pleasure having you on. All the best and good luck at the Giants. And hopefully, like you said, that shoot up the ladder and play finals. And then you may potentially feature against the Brisbane Lions again, because it'd be good to see how you go against your old side. It's been a pleasure having you on, and all the best.
Thank you so much.